How does Eurocentrism impact or change history? Eurocentrism creates silences in history and impacts the memory of history itself. When learning about certain things in history, we should always approach it with a multi-directional approach, which puts into perspective other historical events and narratives. Multi-directional memory is a framework introduced by historian Michael Rothberg. Implementing this is one of many steps to erase Eurocentrism from history. To add on, an example of Eurocentrism in history is the way American history is presented. An example of Eurocentrism in American history is the 4th of July. The 4th of July is a day we've learned to associate with patriotism and pride for the United States. That is all true, that the 4th of July was the day we broke away from the rule of England and declared our independence. That sounds like a great story, but when looking at it from an Afrocentric lens, the story is very different. In an Afrocentric lens, America originated in August of 1619 when a ship appeared on the horizon near Point Comfort, a coastal port in the English colony of Virginia. It carried more than 20 enslaved Africans who were sold to the colonists, and this began the journey of slavery in the United States, a very dark and cruel time period. Eurocentrism is not something that necessarily matters to me, but dismantling Eurocentrism is what matters to me. Being someone who has lived in New York City my whole life and has been part of the public school system, and being an Arab American, sometimes I feel like my story is not told. And being in a classroom sometimes, hearing so much about other stories, you don't feel included. And Eurocentrism matters to me because removing it would make everyone feel included. People of all races, of all religions, of all ethnicities. And being in a classroom, that is something that you want to see. Eurocentrism is something that has taken over our lives, specifically in education, history, and our everyday lives, socially speaking. And as aspiring educators, it should be our goal to try to move away from this sort of thinking. And the way to do this is to highlight different narratives in history, to highlight certain injustices that are occurring throughout the world, and to just confront history with an open view and an open lens, and to just admit that certain things are not as we know it. I believe getting rid of Eurocentrism as a whole would impact things like politics, school, and our everyday lives. So thank you all for tuning in, and if you have any comments, concerns, if you agree, disagree, just let me know.